atmosphere, but a miracle. Not just a way, but a word. Come on, give him praise. Come on, if you need a victory, give him a shout. Come on, God. Now, go back real quick to Ezekiel 37. I love this. And I couldn't believe all the worship. I wasn't going to go there, but let me tell you something. If we're guided by worship, our words will match it.
Yeah.
There's a place where if you'll just linger in worship, every word that you say will be directed towards the throne. And God always gives good instructions from a throne.
Yes.
The Bible in Ecclesiastes says that where the word of a king is, there is power. So if the word of the king is in your mouth, you've got a power mouth.
Yeah.
See, back in the 80s, they had these things called power suits. And the women dressed like men with great shoulder pads. They look like this.
Yeah.
Let me give you a shoulder like a linebacker and make you feel like you have authority. God said, I'm not worried about what you look like. I'm worried about what you sound like. He said, I'm going to put my words in your mouth that you can sound like me and do what I do.
Yes.
See, too many times we've been in agreement with a circumstance and we were really called to change the circumstance. The one thing I'm going to do today before you leave is I'm going to shift your sound. I'm going to give you that if you listen, if you can't at least bless it, you won't curse it. See, I'm not coming into agreement with a curse. The ministry of shut up is important.
Oh, yeah.
Some things you have to learn what to pray and what to say.
Oh, yeah.
When God begins to show up in you and you begin to show up at work and there ain't nobody else saved but you, that means that God's going to give you divine opportunities to let your light shine. We used to sing a song in the church saying, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. We need to resurrect that song. We need to pull it back up. I don't care what kind of a beat you put it to, but you need to come into agreement with the light that's in you and release the sound that's going to shift the darkness around you. I love Ezekiel because when I was reading about it, God said that I'm going to do something new. He said, I'm going to have something new happen. And God took me to verse 8 of 36 and he said, but ye, O mountains of Israel, you shall shoot forth your branches, yield your fruit to my people of Israel, for they are at hand to come. To come where? Into the kingdom. Let me tell you something. God is getting ready to move. Let's go to 37. Now, I just wanted to tell you where I'm going and what I'm doing because it's amazing because the pastor said to me about a new wineskin and the 3 things that I'm doing when I'm in Israel. God says, I'm calling my prophets to release a word from Zion that they that didn't know me will know me.
That's right.
That they shall see me. Who they waited for has already here and I'm coming again. And there's a word of release of identity. So God says, get yourself a new bottle of wine, a new bottle of oil, and some fire. I said, God, how am I going to do fire? He said, flick your beck. I'm going to have to go buy one. Because here's what it is there's been ordinances written. If you go to Galatians, it says that every time Moses is read, that the Jews, all they see is the law. They don't see Jesus. And so they are still at the wall, waiting. And God said that the wait's over.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to take that new bottle of wine and I'm going to pour it out on top of Zion as a covenant. Because see, like I said, I've been better with people and not with places. And God said that if you'll shift a place, you'll change a people.
Come on.
So I'm going to go and I'm going to release a new bottle of wine over Mount Zion. And I'm going to go release new oil from Mount Zion that has to flow down and change a nation.
Yes.
And in the middle of that, because God said there's got to be a new wineskin. He said that I've been making a new wineskin for the last 10 years, says God. See, most of us don't understand prophetically what we've been looking at. But if we understand Jewish history, how many of you ever follow the Jewish calendar at all? Mm-hmm. None of you? Well, then this is good. I'm going to drop some real nuggets for you. If you have paper and pencil, you might want to just jot this down, check it out later. Because I never was one to really set my calendar anyway. I was never the January 1st, we're going to do this thing and it's a new year. Listen, I celebrate God every day. Every day is a new day to me. Every day is a new moment, a new year. My day starts with a praise and ends with a prayer. There's where I'm at. I'm just like, good morning, Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
That's where I live my life. I'm like, woo, woo. And I'm like, okay, God, we're tired, right? And then about 3 o'clock in the morning, he goes, hey, are you awake? That's what I get.
Yes.
So let me tell you something. Me and God, we just have this continual renewal of who I am in him and who he is to me. And he opens my eyes and just everything's new. Everything's different.
His time.
But God spoke to me about the new wineskin. He said in the and, if you understand about every Jewish word has a picture that hooks to it. Every alphabet has a picture. So in our language, we're singularly dimensional. Like I can say the word blue to you. And most of you will think color blue. But see, the wind also blew. And I'm feeling blue. I'm depressed. Okay, it's not the same way in the Hebrew language. It's very specific. And with every word comes a picture. So Ayin, A-Y-I-N, is the 70. And we just stepped into God's new year, which I love, which was Rosh Hashanah. It happened 11 days ago. And see, here's what God's challenging the church to do, to get out of time and into eternity.
Yes, let's go. Come on.
Because God's releasing greater things. And when we understand the Ayin, what it looks like is 2 dots with a little hook onto it. And God says that it looks similar to a face with 2 eyes. And he said, this is the decade of seeing that which you've heard about. So we've heard about it. We've heard it, we've heard it, we've heard it. But how do you see it when it manifests in front of you? I can hear about the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia all day. I can go on the internet, but there's nothing like seeing it in person. You know, have you ever went on vacation and they say, oh, you've just got to see this? And you've heard them talk about it and you know what to expect when you get there, but there's nothing like seeing it for yourself. That's what God's saying, that this is the decade of seeing it for yourself.
Yes.
You're going to see God for yourself. Yes. We've had prophets and we've had teachers and we've had great teaching. And I'm not diminishing that because here's why. We build on everything that's went before us. Yes. So I'm not one to dig a new foundation, but I do want to lay some block in the wall. Woo! Somebody needs to understand we're getting close to putting the roof on this thing. I'm telling you, we're getting ready to get in the God house and not come out.
All right.
Woo, Holy Ghost. Woo, I'm rocked. I'm sorry. I'm just having a moment with God. But you start talking about eternity. See, we've got to get our mind fixed in eternity, not just in time. We are so used to being on the clock. It's Monday, Tuesday, 8 to 5, 8 to 4, 9 to 5. Let me go here. Let me do my work. And then we're going to be here. And we have dance at 6 to 6:15. And then we're going to go here and we're going to go there. And we've become so accustomed to being ministered to by time that we've now